guys, for today's video, I will show you the parts of the main engine and its functions.
Main engine used to turn the ship's propeller and move the ship through the water. It is an internal combustion engine mainly used for marine propulsion. A mixture of fuel and air is compressed inside the engine cylinder by piston, which results in the explosion of the mixture, and the sudden increase of the pressure pushes the piston downwards and transmit the reciprocating motion into the rotary motion of the crankshaft using connecting rod, and the crankshaft is connected via flywheel to the propeller, and the exhaust gases are drawn out from the cylinder through an exhaust valve, and fresh air is supplied for the next combustion. There are two types of marine diesel engine, the two-stroke and the four-stroke engine. In the two-stroke engine, two-stroke of piston and one revolution of crankshaft to complete one cycle. And in the four-stroke engine, four-stroke of piston and two revolution of crankshaft to complete one cycle. And our main engine is a two-stroke cycle engine. And here are the parts of the main engine. Cylinder head. It is mounted on top of the engine housing and seals the top of the combustion chamber. Indicator valve, opened to airflow the engine before starting and after finished with engine. Fuel injector valve, spray fuel into the combustion chamber. Starting air valve, supplies pressurized air into the combustion chamber during starting before combustion starts. Exhaust valve, releases exhaust gas of the combustion into exhaust gas manifold. Cylinder liner, a thin metal cylinder inserted on top of a cylinder block and secured at the top by cylinder head, and provide durable and heat-resistant combustion chamber. Exhaust manifold, collects engine exhaust gases from 6 cylinders. Turbocharger, used to increase supply of the scavenging air used for combustion of fuel in the cylinder. It consists of two main parts, the blower and the turbine. Air cooler, decreases the temperature of the hot compressed air from the turbocharger. This increases the density of the air and thus increases the quantity of air that is supplied to cylinders. Water separator, removes water from the scavenged air. Auxiliary blower, supply air from the air space into the scavenging receiver space during the engine start and during operation at low load. The scavenging space, the scavenging air receiver and scavenging under piston side, where inspection about the condition of cylinder liner, piston and rings happens. Air flaps. Scavenge ports, a port through which a clean air enters the cylinder. Piston, a solid cylinder or disc that fits snugly into cylinder. It transmits the force from the gas that expands in the cylinder to the crankshaft through the connecting rod. Parts of the piston are piston crown, piston rings, piston skirt, and piston rod. Crankcase with relief valve. Stuffing box, The function of the stuffing box is to prevent crankcase lube oil going to scavenge space during upward stroke of piston and to prevent contaminated lube oil and combustion gases coming to crankcase during piston down stroke. Crosshead, a mechanical joint used as a part of the slider crank linkages of long reciprocating engines. To eliminate sideways force on the piston, also enables the connecting rod to freely move outside the cylinder. Connecting rod or conrod connects the piston to the crankshaft. Crankshaft converts reciprocating motion of piston into rotational motion and transmit the power to the propeller, and the main bearing holds the crankshaft in place. Sump tank stores lubricating oil provided to a main engine. Sump tank has level gauge and sounding pipe to monitor the lube oil level. The bed plate, the basic structure of the engine. Axial vibration damper decreases the axial vibration of the crankshaft. Flywheel facilitate the seamless operation of the engine by maintaining a consistent rotational motion within the transmission system. Turning gear, a reversible electric motor which drives a worm gear which can be connected with a toothed flywheel to turn a main engine while at port or anchorage and during inspection of the main engine. Intermediate shaft. It is used to connect thrust shaft and the propeller shaft or the tail shaft and transmit power from the engine to the propeller. Shaft grounding device provides a very low electrical resistance to the hull, preventing erosion damage, or effectively divert induced electrical currents away from the bearings, protecting them from damage and failure. Stern tube, a hollow tube which accommodates the bearings, seal boxes, and the propeller shaft or tail shaft, designed to prevent seawater from entering the ship. Propeller, a rotating fan-like structure that is used to propel the ship by using the power generated and transmitted by the main engine. Oil mist detector, a device which constantly monitors the amount of oil mist in the main engine crankcase. Main engine local or emergency maneuvering stand, for emergency or backup standby system used in case of failure in the main unit. The safety devices, the lube oil low pressure, fuel oil low pressure, fuel oil leak, overspeed, critical speed, oil mist alarm, and etc. Scavenging drain line and scavenging drain tank. SCR, the selective catalytic reduction, used to decrease the level of nitrogen oxides in the exhaust gas. The main engine jacket cooling freshwater system, from freshwater expansion tank to main engine cooling freshwater pumps to the bypass valve of main engine warm-up heater to jacket cooling pipelines to cool down cylinder liner, cylinder head, and exhaust valve. And the outlet goes to freshwater generator evaporator to main engine freshwater cooler with three-way valve temperature controller. And if main engine stops, the main engine warm-up heater is used with the use of steam. Main engine air starting and control system, from air battle with valve to automatic starting air stop valve with non-return valve to rupture disc to flame trap to starting air valve. For control air, it's supplied to the exhaust valve air spring. Main engine fuel oil system, From fuel oil service tank suctioned by fuel oil supply pumps to flow meter, to fuel oil return chamber or mixing tank, to fuel oil circulating pumps, to fuel oil heaters, to viscosity control, to fuel oil auto backwash filter, to main engine fuel pump, to fuel oil rail, to fuel oil injector valve, and the return goes back to the fuel oil return chamber. Main engine lubricating oil system. From main engine sump tank to main engine lube oil pump to main engine lube oil cooler with three-way valve temperature controller to lube oil auto backwash filter, then supply to the bearings, gear wheels, piston, crosshead, turbocharger, and other running parts, and to servo oil pumps to supply oil to the exhaust valve for opening. And for cylinder oil, from cylinder oil storage tank to cylinder oil flow meter to duplex filter to cylinder liner. Main engine seawater system. From main cooling seawater pump to supply cooling to the air cooler, lube oil cooler, and jacket cooling freshwater cooler, and the outlet line of these three coolers pass through the three-way valve temperature controller. One way to overboard and one way for circulation back to the main cooling seawater pump. The main engine control console in the engine control room. That's all guys. Thank you so much for watching.